I never thought I'd be that wife. You know, the one who goes through her husband's things. But there I was, standing in our kitchen at 11 p.m., staring at his laptop screen, my hands trembling so badly I could barely hold my coffee mug. What I saw would unravel everything I thought I knew about the man I'd been married to for 7 years. It started 3 weeks earlier. Nothing dramatic, just small things. Mark had always been predictable, almost boring in his routine. Coffee at 6:30, kiss on my forehead before work, home by 6:15. But lately, he'd been different, distant. His phone was suddenly password protected. He'd take calls in the garage. And he started working late, which never happened before because Mark hated his job at the accounting firm. That particular Tuesday, he said he had a client dinner. I didn't think much of it until I realized he was wearing cologne. Mark never wore cologne. Not to work, not to dinners, not even to our anniversary last year. I watched him leave, and something in my gut twisted. You know that feeling when you just know something is wrong? It was screaming at me. I tried to ignore it. I made myself dinner, watched Netflix, did everything to distract myself. But at 10:30, when he still wasn't home, I couldn't take it anymore. His laptop was right there on the kitchen counter, where he'd left it that morning in his rush. He'd never left it behind. Mark was attached to that thing like it was an extension of his body. I told myself I'd just check his calendar, see if the dinner was real. That's all, just a quick peek to calm my anxiety. But when I opened it, the screen was still logged into everything. His email, his messages, everything. The first thing I noticed was an email thread. The subject line read, "Tonight's plan." My heart started racing. I clicked it. It was from someone named Jennifer. I didn't know any Jennifer. The email was from that afternoon. "Can't wait to see you tonight. Same place as last time. I'll be wearing that dress you like." I felt like I couldn't breathe. My vision actually blurred for a second. 7 years. We'd been together for 7 years. We talked about starting a family next year. We just signed a lease on a bigger apartment. And he was cheating on me? But I had to be sure. I opened his messages. There were dozens of texts from this Jennifer woman. Weeks worth. They went back almost 2 months. I started scrolling, and each message was like a knife. "Last night was incredible. I can't stop thinking about you. When can we meet again?" And Mark's responses were just as bad. He called her baby. He said things to her he'd never said to me anymore. I sat down right there on the kitchen floor, still holding the laptop. I was shaking so hard I thought I might drop it. Part of me wanted to throw it across the room. Part of me wanted to keep reading, to know every detail, to torture myself with the truth. I kept scrolling. Then I found something that made me stop cold. A message from Mark to Jennifer from 3 days ago. "I need to tell you something important. Sarah can never find out, but I've been thinking about our future together. You make me feel alive again, in a way I haven't felt in years." Our future. He was planning a future with her? I'd spent the last month looking at baby names online. I'd started taking prenatal vitamins. I'd been building a life with him in my mind, while he was building a different life with someone else. I heard his car pull into the driveway. Panic hit me. I ran to the bedroom, got into bed, and pretended to be asleep. My heart was pounding so loud, I was sure he'd hear it from the hallway. I heard him come in, move around the kitchen quietly, then head to the bathroom. The shower ran. He was washing her off, I realized, washing away the evidence. He slipped into bed next to me around midnight. He even kissed my shoulder, like everything was normal, like he hadn't just spent the evening with another woman. I laid there in the dark, my eyes wide open, trying to figure out what to do next. The next morning, I called in sick to work. I needed time to think. Mark left for the office like nothing was wrong, whistling while he made his coffee. Whistling. As soon as his car was gone, I grabbed his laptop again. I needed more information. I needed to understand who this Jennifer was and how long this had really been going on. I found her on social media pretty quickly. She worked at his office. Of course she did. She was in her late 20s, blonde, pretty in that Instagram filter kind of way. Her profile was full of gym selfies and brunch photos. She looked nothing like me. I'm brunette, curvy, more of a books and coffee kind of person. Was that what he wanted? Someone different? Then I found something interesting. I went back further in their messages, to the very beginning. The first message was from Mark. "Hey, are you the new hire in marketing? Welcome to the team." Standard, professional. But her response wasn't. "Thanks, I've heard a lot about you. Maybe you could show me around sometime." It escalated quickly from there. Within a week, they were meeting for coffee. Within 2 weeks, they were having lunch together every day. And within a month, the messages turned romantic, then physical. I read every single message, every single one. It was like picking at a scab I knew would never heal properly, but I couldn't stop. The worst part was reading how he described me to her. "Sarah's great, but we've grown apart. She doesn't understand me anymore. Things haven't been exciting between us for a while." I wanted to scream. We hadn't grown apart. I was right here. I'd been right here the whole time, loving him, supporting him, planning our future. How could he say these things to me? I spent all day gathering evidence. I took screenshots of everything, the emails, the texts, the photos he'd sent her. There were photos. I saved them all to a private cloud account he didn't know about. I don't know why I felt I needed evidence. Maybe for a divorce lawyer. Maybe just to prove to myself I wasn't crazy. By the time Mark got home that evening, I'd made a decision. I wasn't going to confront him yet. I needed to be smart about this. I needed to understand the full scope of what was happening before I showed my hand. So I acted normal. I'd made dinner, I smiled when he walked in, I asked about his day, and I watched him lie to my face. He was so good at it, so comfortable. He told me about a meeting that ran long, about a difficult client, about office politics. All lies, I assumed. Or maybe some of it was true, mixed in with the lies to make it more believable. I couldn't tell anymore. Who was this person sitting across from me at our dinner table? That night, after he fell asleep, I went through his laptop again. I'd become obsessed. I found calendar entries. They'd been meeting twice a week for the past 2 months, sometimes for lunch, but mostly for late dinners or drinks. And 3 times, the calendar showed full evenings blocked off with no description. Those must have been the nights he said he was working late. I also found searches in his browser history that made my stomach turn. He'd been looking at apartments, 1-bedroom apartments in the city, places I'd never want to live, places that made sense for a single person, or maybe someone starting over with someone new. Was he planning to leave me? The next few days were torture. I went to work, came home, pretended everything was fine, but inside, I was dying. I'd look at him and think about all the messages, all the lies, all the secret meetings. We'd have dinner together, and I'd wonder if he was texting her under the table. We'd watch TV, and I'd notice how he'd smile at his phone. Was that her? A week passed, then 2. I was waiting for something, though I didn't know what. Maybe I was waiting for him to come clean. Maybe I was waiting for the courage to confront him. Or maybe I was just in denial, hoping I'd wake up and discover it was all a nightmare. Then last Friday, something changed. Mark came home and he was different. Nervous. He kept checking his phone. He barely touched his dinner. Finally, he looked at me and said, "Sarah, we need to talk." My heart stopped. This was it. He was going to tell me. He was going to break my heart and confirm everything I'd been carrying around for 3 weeks. I almost felt relieved. At least it would be out in the open. At least I wouldn't have to pretend anymore. But then he said something I didn't expect. He thinks someone's been accessing my laptop. Some of my emails have been read that I don't remember opening. Have you seen anyone around the apartment? Do you think we should change the locks? I felt my face go hot. He knew, or suspected. I had to think fast. No, I haven't noticed anything. Maybe it's just the glitch, or maybe you opened them and forgot. My voice sounded